Hello there. My name is Murray. I'm with my co-host Corey.
Hello.
And we are the Real Guys, and this is Siren Radio, and this is the Real Show with 2 E's. The music you just heard was "Love Over and Over Again" by Switch in 1980. What was that year like, Corey?
Oh, it was a classic.
Was it 1980?
Yeah.
You were around then, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I remember that vividly.
Totally clear as day.
Yeah.
We've got a packed show for you today for this broadcast. As always, I'm accompanied by my co-host Corey. How are you doing today, Corey?
Doing very well, thank you.
Good. Today we'll be bringing you an edition of Good Film, Bad Review and a discussion and possible decision about which streaming service is worth your money. But firstly, I'm just decidedly going to plug our Podbean account because I think we need to. We can plug things on our own show, can't we?
Yeah, we can plug our own stuff.
We can plug our own stuff. You can find us at the Siren Radio FM Podbean, which is sirenradio.podbean.com, and you'll find us at The Real Show. I thought we'd just plug that and get some more downloads on there, Corey?
Yeah. Ow.
Oh, you're all right.
Sorry, I fell over.
Careful.
It's my old age. Carried over from 1984.
1980. Of course you are. You're just brittle. You're brittle old bones, aren't you, Corey? But first, we're going to kick things off with your weekly dose of film news. You excited? Film news.
Were you asking me?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, very. I'm waiting in anticipation.
You're the only one here, Corey. Who else am I going to ask?
You could be asking the audience. Even
I'm asking the listener. Are you ready, listener? Pause. Are you ready, listener? Felt like Dora the Explorer then. Can you see Swiper? No.
No, because it's the radio.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with your film news. And the first article on film news today is pretty good news. There's a new James Bond video game in development. How do you feel about that?
Oh, if it's anything like GoldenEye, fine.
Yeah. It's called Project 007. It's called Project 007, and I couldn't find a release date for it, but it has been announced. So should be happy about that. But the new Ryan Reynolds vehicle, Ryan Reynolds' newest film, Free Guy, releases on 10th of December 2020.
Oh.
It's directed by Sean Levy, who's directed Night of the Museum, Real Steel, and Stranger Things, some of the episodes of Stranger Things.
Real Steel, that's that robot boxing thing, isn't it?
That is, with Hugh Jackman, isn't it? Real Steel. But Night of the Museum, pretty good, actually. I don't know who's on the sequels.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah. But also starring Jodie Comer, who I adore, Joe Keery, and Taika Waititi, who I also adore. Written by Matt Lieberman and Zach Penn. Wonder Woman 1984, the sequel to Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, releases on HBO Max. It's been moved to a streaming service release onto HBO Max. Now, how do you feel? How do you feel about Lady Gaga?
Big fan.
Big fan. Well, you'll be happy then, because Lady Gaga, Zazie Beetz, and Michael Shannon have all been cast in David Leitch's new film Bullet Train.
Oh.
David Leitch, the famous director of Atomic Blonde, Deadpool, Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw. I didn't think he did Deadpool, and I think he did Deadpool 2. But and yeah, the Fast and Furious spin-off, Hobbs and Shaw. The new Scream film has finished wrapping. The fifth finished wrapping. It's wrapped filming. Sorry. It's finished wrapping. It's wrapped its presents.
Finished wrapping for Christmas.
It's finished wrapping its presents for Christmas. The fifth film of the Scream franchise. It's just called Scream, which I think is a bit naff in it.
Yeah, a lot of horror films do that nowadays.
Yeah, but the first one was called Scream. It's called Scream
That's what
again.
I mean, yeah.
You got there's Scream, and then there's Scream 2022, which is when this film comes out.
Yeah.
It follows Scream 4 and will be released in cinemas in 2022. So there's Scream and there's Scream 2022.
Yes.
It's like Halloween.
Exactly, yeah. Friday the 13th did it as well. It came back in 2009.
The Creed 2 director, Stephen Caple Jr., has signed on to direct the newest Transformers film. With a June 2022 release date slated, it's possible, I think it's going to be a sequel to Bumblebee from 2018.
Okay.
Which I'd like to see, because I think Bumblebee is probably the best live-action Transformers we've had in a long time.
Oh, definitely.
But also, I like Creed 2 as well.
Creed's great.
Yeah, I do like
It's really
22.
good.
So Stephen Caple Jr. I think he'll do a good job. Now I hope I don't butcher this name, but John M. Chu has been slated to direct the live-action Lilo and Stitch from Disney.
Okay.
It should be going to Disney Plus, and he's also the director of Crazy Rich Asians, Now You See Me Too, and G.I. Joe Retaliation. Now I do like Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
I also like Now You See Me, and G.I. Joe, a bit here, a bit there, but you know,
It was alright.
well, the second one I think was better than the first.
Yeah.
It seemed more G.I. Joe-ish than
That's
the
very
than the
true
first
point.
one.
Very
But
true
still,
point.
a lot of good pieces of news there. But today, as always, I review website Letterboxd to give you only the best of the worst. Are you ready, Corey? It's time to play Good Film, Bad Review.
Now, last time I got 100?
You did for the Batman centric episode of the review
Yeah,
show.
so it's high
You
stakes.
got 3 out of 3. You got the clean sweep, the queen sweep.
The Queen sweep.
You got the clean sweep. But will it happen today? Because we're changing it up a bit today on Good Film, Bad Review. Oh, I've not done the jingle. I've got to go. Good Film, Bad Review.
There we go.
There, it's time to play. So for today, we'll be doing an interesting concept. It's unheard of on this show. We have 3 films, reboots of each other, and it's up to Corey to guess which film is which. But he only has to guess 3 guesses for 3 reviews. Now, because of our topic of streaming services on this episode, we'll be doing Shaft from 2019, the John Shaft reboot from 1971. We'll be doing, there's 3 separate Shafts, isn't there? There's Shaft 1971, Shaft 2019. So all Corey has to do is isolate, guess which Shaft is which. However, because of the layout of this game, I'd normally tell him the answers directly after he guesses. But for this one, I'm not going to do that because there's a way that you can sort of cheat, Corey.
Yeah, there's a
way you
bit of a loophole.
If you get 2 correct, you'll know which the third one is, won't you? So I'm not going to tell you the answers directly after. I'm going to wait. Okay. Are you ready to play Good Film, Bad Review?
I'm as ready as ever.
Good. I hope you are. You're the one I'm playing it with. But still, listener, you can play along. Play along at home and try to guess which of these Shaft films earned this bad review. Shaft. That's my impression of the theme song.
Great.
You know, they go Shaft.
Can you do that for every single time we do Good Film, Bad Review now?
Yeah, probably. So all Corey has to do is sort out which Shaft is which, John Shaft, via the review. So just to iron this out, there are 3 Shafts. There is 1971 Shaft, Shaft reboot in 2000 with Sam Jackson, and Shaft 2019 with 3 Shafts. So let's go.
I'm hyped.
Let's begin. Here's our first review. It's a half-a-star review.
Okay.
On Letterboxd, and it is the following. I'll just read this verbatim. Yeah, sure. Let's reboot such an iconic character, but this time, instead of making it gritty, how about we make it a comedy, directed by the same dude who directed the first 2 Fantastic Four flicks and Ride Along. Hate is a strong word, but I legitimately hated this. Hulu.
Okay.
Hulu.
A little bit of Hulu there.
Just at the end. I hate is a strong word. Hate is a strong word, but I legitimately hated this. Hulu. What are your thoughts?
Okay, well, it's not the first one.
No, it's
they mentioned it's a reboot. It's not the first one. So that means it's one of 2. 2 new ones.
I can't tell you what it is though, direct after. I cannot because I'll break the game.
But it mentions Fantastic Four.
It does. The first 2 Fantastic Four flicks. When did they come out?
If I'm not mistaken, they were after 2000s. I'm fairly certain they were after 2000, which means it can't be the first reboot. So I'm going to say that is Shaft 2019. Is
that the Fantastic Four flicks with Chris Evans as the Human Torch?
Yeah, I think it's
before he's Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Is that your guess?
Yeah. So I'm going 2019.
The first review is Shaft 2019.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go on to this second review then.
Okay.
Of course, I can't tell you. So it's a bit confusing for me. And
Fine.
we'll figure it
It's
out.
anticipation. It's
Anticipation.
suspense.
Yeah. This next one is a 1-star review.
Yeah.
On Letterboxd for a Shaft film, but which Shaft is it? Here we go. Out of all 100 minutes, the best are probably the first 5. The rest was dull and confusing, missing any sense of sizzle the trailer promised me. Then they do one of those emoticons. It's like a shrug.
Yeah, I got
it's one of those shrugging like.
I'm doing it now.
Where they spell it out with like
the brackets and the
with brackets. Yeah, it's one of those. Out of all 100 mins, the best are probably the first 5. The rest was dull and confusing, missing any sense of sizzle the trailer promised me.
Sizzle.
Sizzle. You need some sizzle in your trailer.
Sizzle.
But it's missing any sense of sizzle. There is no sizzle.
Got no sizzle.
Where's the sizzle? What do you think?
Oh, okay, right. Okay, no sizzle.
No sizzle. The trailer promised him sizzle. He was looking forward to it. But out of all of 100 mins, the best are probably the first 5, he says. Which Shaft is it?
Oh. Okay, well, is it the first one? Or is it the 2000 one? Sizzle.
You've already well, actually, because I'm not telling you the answer straight away, you could say 2019 for this again.
Oh, well, yeah, so that's a good point.
Dull and confusing.
You see, part of me is thinking, right, a trailer from 2000s is probably going to be more hyped up than a trailer from the 70s.
Yeah.
So, like, that might be the sizzle that he's on about.
Right, okay.
You know? Sam Jackson, he might have
Samuel L. Jackson is a very sizzly man.
Sam Jackson, sizzly, exactly.
He's full of sizzle.
Exactly, that's might be what his thinking was.
When I think of Sam Jackson, I think of sizzle.
You think sizzle, exactly.
I do. He is very sizzly.
So you know what? I'm going to go Shaft 2000s.
Shaft 2000 for that review?
Yeah.
All right, okay. You're locking that one in?
Yes.
Right.
I'm now hoping that this one makes sense for the 1971.
Right, okay, great. Okay, here we go. This is half a star for this review. I watched it and I don't remember anything. That is probably a bad thing for a movie. Very short, very brief.
Okay, well, okay.
I picked this because of how frank it sounds. I watched it. I don't remember anything. That is probably a bad thing for a movie.
You know what?
Is it? I don't know. This guy doesn't seem to know.
You know what? Okay, well, first off, I'm gonna go 1971.
Right. Okay. Okay.
But here's my reasoning. I'm gonna guess this person watched it around about 70s.
Right. Okay.
And they're writing the review recently.
Right.
You know, maybe a couple of years ago, a couple of months ago, who knows? And so they've forgotten because it's been like 30, 50 years since they've seen it.
You think this person watched it in 1971 or whatever, and just watched it now and doesn't remember anything purely because they've not seen it in years?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Is your answer Shaft 1971?
It is.
Right. Okay. Well, out of 3 reviews, do you want to guess how many you got correct?
We'll
leave a bit of tension, actually. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say just now you weren't far off, even though probably saying that, of course you would, because they're all Shaft films.
Well, yeah.
But how many do you think you got correct?
I'm confident about the first one.
Right. Okay.
So at least one. The last 2.
Do you want to switch any of your answers?
No.
I'll give you a chance to switch. Do you want to switch?
Ah, duh. First one staying.
Right.
The problem is the last 2, you could switch them and it would still make sense.
Yeah. But do you want to take that risk? I'm giving you a chance to switch. You can.
It's you're doing the bloody 3 doors thing, aren't you? Where it's like, oh, here's what's behind your doors. 2 doors has a car. Do you want to swap doors?
I'm doing that thing where I try and use what is it? I try and psych you out.
Yeah.
Some reverse psychology.
You know what? I'm sticking with my guts.
You're gonna stick with your guts. You're not gonna fall for my reverse psychology.
I am not.
Right. Okay. How many do you? Right, okay. I'm going to tell you how many you got correct. You got one correct.
Okay, so I sort of swapped them.
Yeah, it's the first one. You got the right.
Yeah.
The first review about the guy that directed the Fantastic Four and Ride Along, that was Shaft 2019.
Yeah.
The second review about the lack of sizzle and the emoticon shrug, that was Shaft 1971.
Right.
And Shaft 2000 was, I watched it, I don't remember anything. That's probably a bad thing for a movie.
Right.
Even though, let's just say that Shaft 1971 and Shaft 2000 aren't too bad. I mean, I've watched the 2019 version. I thought it was okay, but it didn't really stand up to the 1971 version for me.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think Shaft's a great franchise, and it should be. We should see some more of it. But I don't know. Maybe after 2019, that we won't be. But you know, I enjoyed Shaft 1971. I enjoyed Shaft 2000 with Sam Jackson. Sizzly, got a lot of sizzle.
Sizzly Sam Jackson.
Sizzly Sam Jackson. Sizzly Sam Jackson. Well, speaking of Shaft 2019, released on Netflix, a Netflix original. Streaming services are bigger than ever, as I think you can agree with me, Corey. 100%. Bigger than ever, and there's more of them than ever before. But which one, dear listener, is worth your money? Now, the discerning listeners of the real show, you know, they need to know. They need our advice of which one to purchase, right? Imagine, Corey, that no one has got a streaming service. Someone comes to us in the street and asks us, "I need a streaming service. Which one do I get?" What would you tell them? Now, we have many candidates here.
We do.
But let's just iron out what is a streaming service for the layman who for the many laymen who don't know what one is. Let's just even though probably everyone who's listening to this knows exactly what a streaming service is.
Yeah.
Let's read the Wikipedia definition, which is a streaming service provider is a subscription-based service offering online streaming of films and television programs. Most of these services are owned by a major film studio. Some streaming services started as add-ons to Blu-ray offerings, which are supplements to the programs watched. It's an alternative file to downloading, a process which the end user obtains the entire file for the content before watching or listening to it. And there you go. That's as basic as it comes, really. However, there are a lot of heavy hitters in this category. I think you can agree.
Oh yes.
But which one is worth your hard-earned cash? Which one's worth your dough? Well, we're about to find out. It's not Movie Versus. It's not Battle of the Streaming Services. It is. It's a casual discussion and a decision of which one is worth your hard-earned dollar.
Gosh.
So let's weigh in. First off, let's start with the ones that I think everyone is thinking of.
Yeah.
They're over 50 million subscribers. There's three of them. The big three, as I like to call it. Who are the big three, Corey?
They are Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney Plus.
They are. What are your thoughts? Now, how many of those do you own?
So we have Disney Plus. Have Prime. I believe we have Netflix.
I only have two. I don't have Amazon Prime.
I have Prime.
I think I did, but I only used it to watch The Boys.
Nice.
I only used it to watch The Boys, as I do. But Netflix and Amazon and Disney are huge companies. Netflix, of course, spawned out of Blockbuster.
Yes, they did.
And Amazon spawned out of Amazon, which spawned out of Amazon.
Yeah.
And Disney Plus spawned out of Disney, which is probably, if not the biggest company in the world.
It's definitely up there. Yeah.
Probably second only to Amazon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because Disney own three of the biggest properties in the world, which is Star Wars, Marvel, and I think Disney itself, I'd say. Their animation studio, Pixar or whatever. They own a lot of great properties. But let's break it down. Let's start with Netflix.
Yes.
Now,
the big one.
The big one. We're taking on the white whale.
Yes.
They've got a lot of exclusives, a lot of originals, Most recently, Queen's Gambit came out. A film about a prodigy chess player. They've got Star Trek Discovery, which has recently had a new season. The Star Trek spin-off. They've got The Crown, which is, I think, their crowning glory.
Nice.
I'm cringing at myself for that joke.
Good.
They've recently taken Cobra Kai off YouTube.
Yes, they have.
They won the war for that. Have they got Stranger Things as well?
Yes, they have.
They've got Stranger Things. They've taken Lucifer recently after it was cancelled. They've got Orange is the New Black, which was out for a while. They've got Umbrella Academy. They've got Sex Education. They've got loads of shows that they're coming out with. They've got a lot of money for this type of stuff, you know. The Witcher as well. Henry Cavill, a friend of the show in The Witcher. Well, he's not a friend of the show. We've talked about him once.
We have, yeah.
He doesn't listen. Sorry, Henry. We know you don't listen. But yeah, they get a lot of money to do all these things, and they've got a lot of cash to fork out on these big shows and these big shows and these big films. Now, it was launched in 2007. Can you believe it, Corey? 2007, January 16th. It has an estimated 195 million subscribers, so it's probably broken 200 million by the time I'm speaking about this.
Probably, yeah.
It's got Netflix originals. It's bought out Studio Ghibli, who make Japanese animation, and it's got a worldwide area. So it's a big titan, I'd say, of the industry. It's a titan of the industry, and it's rare to ever top Netflix, wouldn't you say?
To be fair, I don't think many, as far as people and streaming services go, I don't think any of them can do top Netflix.
Well, come on, this isn't a one-horse race, is it?
Well, no, but I think Netflix is for, like, if you go with someone and you go, name a streaming service, probably going to say Netflix.
They've cornered the market.
Yeah, exactly.
They've cornered the market, and it's rare that any horse is going to get. I think two horses are getting close.
Oh, two horses are definitely close.
Amazon Prime enters the. Strangely, it's been running longer than Netflix has.
Really?
Yes. Well, the Amazon Prime delivery service has been running since 2006, but the Amazon Studios have only appeared recently.
Yeah.
They've got Amazon Studios. They've got Discovery Channel. Over here in the UK, they've got ITV. They of course get licensed content from other vendors, as does Netflix.
Yeah.
And they also have a worldwide release, and they do have originals. They've got the TV series Bosch, which premiered in 2015. They've got Man in the High Castle. They've got The Boys, of course. They've got Jack Ryan. But I think, well, you've got Amazon Prime.
I do have.
What's been your experience with it?
I think it's great. I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you? Well,
it's I think as far as all the big three we have, I think Amazon Prime is the one I use most.
Right. Do you?
Yes.
And of course, we did just recently talk about Borat, didn't we?
We did, which was also on Amazon Prime,
Borat
but exclusively, I believe.
What's that film again called, Corey?
Oh, God. Do you really want me to?
Yes, I do. It's the rule of the show.
Right, let me search it up.
I'll give you some time. I'll talk about Amazon.
Give me some
time. Well, I think Amazon, they've come out late into the field with this, and I think they've really their attempt to pass Netflix is admirable, and I think they've got enough. I think The Boys definitely are sort of carrying them, as was The Man in the High Castle, but I think that's ended. I think that had 4 seasons, and I think it has ended. The Boys is still continuing. It has been renewed. They've got a lot of. They've putting films out like Borat 2, which is called.
It's called Borat's subsequent movie film, delivery of prodigious bribe to American regime for make benefit most glorious nation of Kazakhstan.
Good. And now every time I ask you for the title of that film, you're going to give me the full title. So make sure you
I'm
have
just
it on you at
gonna-
all times.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna have it with me. Could be ready.
Nice, good. Just in case. Just in case I look to you, Corey, and I say, Corey, what is the title of the second Borat film?
Don't worry, it would be there. It'd be there.
Okay, excellent.
I'm on guard.
Great. However, smashing into, laying its hat down in the field, smashing into the contest, is the Walt Disney Company with Disney Plus. Good old Walt, Frozen. He's banged onto the scene, jumped onto the scene, with 73.7 million subscribers with Disney Plus. They've just appeared literally last year.
Yeah.
And they've already passed 50 million subscribers. They've taken the world by storm, Disney Plus. They've got the animation studio, they've got the channel, the Disney Channel, they've got Marvel Studios, they've got Lucasfilm, they've got LucasArts, they've got Pixar, they've got National Geographic, they've got the Blue Sky Studios, they've got Touchstone Pictures, they're bringing so much to the table. It's like they've walked in and they've just slapped Amazon and Netflix in the face, slapped their centered mothers, and drop their hat into the ring. And it's quite a sizable hat, when you say.
I mean, yeah. I think I remember when it was coming out, and I was like, okay, it's going to do a streaming service. I was like, all right, makes sense. And then literally, like, as soon as it releases, like, here's just everything.
Yeah, really. But there are some drawbacks.
Yeah.
With Disney Plus, us fellows in the United Kingdom, we had to wait to get it. If you can't remember,
yes, we did.
America got it slap bang November 12th. We had to wait till the year after. We had to wait till early 2020 to get it, didn't we?
Yeah.
And even then, it hasn't received a worldwide release, which may shock you. It is only available in the Americas, the Australia, Europe, India, Indonesia, Japan, and New Zealand. So I know there's a lot of people in, especially Eastern Europe, who are very annoyed because they haven't got any coverage. So
yeah, and it had do you remember? I think it's fixed now. Do you remember when it first came out and there was the issues with the cropping of some footage? I think specifically The Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah. So but some of the jokes wouldn't work because like the top and the bottoms were basically cut off.
The aspect ratio was.
Yeah. So
really?
it was.
That's very interesting.
I'm definitely that being a thing. I think it's fixed now, but I think they've gone through and fixed it.
Oh God! All right. Well, obviously, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Mandalorian. Yeah. Which I'm sure the Mandalorian's back hurts from carrying Disney Plus.
Disney Plus's biggest thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. It's earning 5 times more than everything else earns on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's just got its second season. It's blowing hearts and minds, and it is just set to just carry them, and I'm all behind it. I think the future of the Star Wars franchise is on Disney Plus. There's more than enough stuff that's been announced. Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Cassian Andor series from Rogue One. They're talking about an Ahsoka TV show. Obviously, because they're dialing back on their films, Star Wars, they're going to push all to Disney Plus and push all to TV shows.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah, Boba Fett miniseries coming out. They're doing a sequel to Star Wars Rebels, so I've heard. They're doing a sequel to the Clone Wars that's going to focus on this clone trooper squad, the Bad Batch. So they've got loads coming out in terms of stars. Marvel as well. They've got the WandaVision is set to come out pretty soon, I'd say, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
December, I think.
Sounds about right.
The show about Scarlet Witch and the Vision with Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany.
Yes.
WandaVision is supposed to be coming out very soon. A Loki show as well. Tom Hiddleston's Loki is supposed to be having his own show as well. I don't know if there's any other. Even though I wouldn't be surprised if they just start with the State of the World, I wouldn't be surprised if they just started putting their Marvel films they're releasing onto Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean, it
like
makes sense.
Black Widow, like Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, if just started just porting everything onto Disney Plus. To be honest, it's clearly working.
I mean, yeah.
As I said in film news, HBO Max has just earned Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
But let's step away from the big three and let's give the others some credit, shall we? The biggest one I can think of at the minute is YouTube Premium.
YouTube's big, yeah.
Yeah, well, their biggest asset was Cobra Kai, and that's now been taken by Netflix. The Karate Kid spin-off, because apparently YouTube couldn't front the bill for season 3.
Yeah.
So they just let it into the wild, and Netflix picked it up. And now season 3 is coming out, I think, early next year. So
I believe you're correct.
There's Hulu as well, which is still owned by Disney.
Yes.
It's got ABC and American networks. It's not available in the UK, just to let you know. We have others like ESPN, which is still owned by Disney, but it's sports like basketball and UFC and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, your American football, that sort of thing.
American football, that sort of thing. It's not available here either, only in the United States. However, Apple TV has arrived onto the scene. 10 million subscribers. It again launched very similar to Disney Plus. It launched in November 1st, 2019. And it's coming out with it has its own originals, as far as I can tell. It's got that the name of the Tom Hanks film where he's in the submarine.
Oh God, I can't remember it.
The film about something with Haley Steinfeld that I like.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've got a list here in my notes. But still, I think what do you think about every company or TV channel just coming out with their own streaming service?
I mean, on one hand, it makes sense.
Dickinson, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
It's called Dickinson. It's about the writer Emily Dickinson. So it is Haley Steinfeld. I know, because I like Haley Steinfeld. So
yeah, on one hand, it makes sense, right? You're gonna have like your ESPN, similar to how over here you get Sky and that sort of thing.
Oh right, yeah, of
where
course.
you want sport. Okay, cool. I'm going to get something to ESPN. But then it's like what's Game of Thrones? Is that HBO?
Yeah, HBO.
Yeah. And there's that Walking Dead as well, I think, right?
Yeah, HBO Max, it's called. It's owned by AT&T, which is an American network.
So that makes sense.
It's HBO Max and HBO Now, which HBO Max just released in May 2020. HBO Now released in 2014, which has all the Game of Thrones and whatnot.
Right.
But they're only US exclusive, so that tells you something.
Yeah.
HBO Max also is getting. They also own DC.
The
DC Universe Originals is starting to go there, which is where the Snyder Cut's going to be. And apparently there's going to be a Wonder Woman show or a Green Lantern show or something that's going to HBO Max as well.
If I'm not mistaken, and this could be wrong, I believe you can get HBO stuff from Now TV. I could be wrong with that.
I think you can.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Also, let's give the Brits some. Let's give the British some credit. BritBox and there is another one has just come out as well. BritBox launched in 2017 with BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, Comedy Central UK. They've recently they've rebooted Spitting Image.
They have,
and they've put that on BritBox. And I'm a big Spitting Image fan, and
really good.
It's hilarious. It really is. I'd say if you just live in the UK, just BritBox. It's not much, is it? And
no, it's not.
Even if you're just watching it for Spitting Image, it's great. It really is. It's still got all the BBC ITV stuff, and then we do have, of course, BBC iPlayer, ITV, Hub. Is that what it's called?
I believe so.
There's one from Channel 4. Channel 4 recently got Taskmaster, Greg Davies.
Really good show.
Channel 4 recently got all the seasons of Taskmaster. So yeah, I think But in terms of films, in terms of cinema releases and television, who would you go for? We've mentioned a lot.
We have.
But who would you think would you give to someone? Yeah, if you could only pick one. If you could only pick one, I ask. If you could only pick one, would it be the obvious choice, or would it be? Obviously, let's not be around the bush. Netflix is the obvious choice. It's like
I'm going to go with a couple. So I'm going to say if they want, I think it does depend on some stuff. Obviously, if you want specifics, like if you want like I don't know, an anime thing, you're going to go Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
but
of course.
If you want like overall film, TV, that sort of stuff, I think, and I have one specific reason for this. I think I would say Amazon.
You'd go for Amazon Prime, would you?
I think so.
Can I ask why?
Because not only has it got really good selection of films in general, not including originals. The originals are really good. James May recently has a cooking show on Amazon.
Yes.
It's really good.
I'm aware. I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel. I'm aware.
Exactly. Grand Tour as well, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, Grand Tour, yeah.
But one thing that I like is the fact that if it's not on Amazon Prime, you can go on Amazon Prime, search for film, and then buy or rent the film like you can on YouTube. So technically, and that's only like a couple. Normally, it's like depending on what film you get in, a couple of quid to rent it.
Well,
so if you can't get it, you can just rent it for a couple.
My thinking is the fault with Netflix is they've got a constantly expanding library, but to get you must also take.
Yes.
And they have taken a lot. Recently, I'm a massive fan of Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
And they had a prequel series, Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, which had been cancelled the day that it won an Emmy.
Yeah.
It won an Emmy for Outstanding Children's Program, and it was cancelled that very same day, which is just devastating to a fan of The Dark Crystal and a fan of Jim Henson like I am. But also on Disney Plus, the Muppets have a show.
They do indeed.
So, and also, I'm surprised because they literally had all the puppets and everything ready to go for season 2.
Yeah.
And now what they're going to do with them? I'm thinking, please Disney Plus pick it up. Something. I don't want to see the Dark Crystal go out again because it's been so long since we've had anything decent from it. Yeah. So, but still, Netflix they do take away many things as much as they give. As much as they give, they also take.
Yeah.
And it's dealing with, well, maybe your favorite thing will be on there, but one day it will no longer be there.
It won't be there anymore.
Like another TV show from J.J. Abrams called Person of Interest that I really like, with Michael Emerson and Jim Caviezel. That was removed after about a year and a half on Netflix. It got removed, and I remember because I was watching it the day they got rid of it.
Oh, nice!
And it happened. It was buffering, and I thought, why is it buffering? I went to a different episode. It was still buffering. I was like, oh god, what's happened?
Yeah.
I check, and I find out after about half an hour of searching they'd gotten rid of it, and I go, oh no! I was watching it the minute it was removed.
How far through it were you?
The episode. I think I was rewatching it. I'd already watched it once.
Oh,
I was rewatching it again, and I got into about the second season. I was on like the third or fourth episode, and then it was pulled out from under me.
Right. Okay.
I'd already seen the entire series. There's only 5 seasons, but
yeah.
It was the rug was pulled out from under me, unfortunately. On the very minute it was removed, I was watching it, which is just depressing, really. But still, what else can you do? What I'd recommend is, again, I realise neither of us are going to go with Netflix. I'd recommend Disney Plus.
I mean, yeah, the thing with Disney is as well, obviously, if you're a massive fan of Disney films, go Disney Plus.
I cannot get enough of Star Wars. I live and breathe it. So
well, that's the other thing. Star Wars,
Marvel.
I believe Pirates of the Caribbean on Disney Plus. I could be wrong.
Yep, it is. They are, yeah.
You can't forget, when I mentioned Disney Plus, you can't forget the ultimate top dog.
No.
Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Cool Runnings is on there. And it's great.
Cool Runnings, yeah. of course, they've got Pixar, they've got Blue Sky Studios, they've got Marvel, they've got the Muppets, they've got the Simpsons, they've got National Geographic. Jeff Goldblum has a great series on there as well, called The World According to Jeff Goldblum. I think everyone should watch it. And again, The Mandalorian is doing amazing. It's only gonna get better from here.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And with Netflix, I think when you're at the top, there's only one way to go, isn't there?
Yeah.
And that's down. And I think if Netflix goes down, then Amazon and Disney Plus will rise to take its place. As they are currently, as we're all currently aware, they are doing.
I think this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. If Netflix goes down, or if it's mired in something, then Disney Plus and Amazon Prime will take it. But if you pick Amazon Prime, I will gladly pick Disney Plus. I will back Disney Plus. Mostly because I'm a Star Wars and Marvel fan, but still.
I mean, yeah, see, it makes sense. I do like my Disney, which is why I have Disney Plus. Mainly for more Disney stuff.
Yeah, of course. They've got all the Disney classics on there, haven't they? They've got Bambi, they've got Snow White.
Well, exactly.
They've got everything that's owned or made by Disney is on literally everything. There's not a thing that's not on there.
I love the Disney Robin Hood. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, he's a fox. I don't know why he's a fox. I don't know why animals, but you know what? It makes sense.
Yeah.
Or Sword and Stone, another great one.
Yeah. But still, if there's anything that is Disney owned or Disney made, it's on there. Everything.
Everything except Indiana Jones, which is on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Because
that's probably a studio thing, though, isn't it?
Yes, they own the distribution rights.
Yeah, that's probably a studio thing. That's not.
So it's on Amazon still, even
Fair
though.
Enough.
But if they made a new Indiana Jones, then I believe a new one is on Disney.
Yeah, it's like the X-Men. They're all constantly mired in studio problems. But still, I think that's quite concise. If you go for Amazon Prime, I'll go for Disney Plus.
I'm thinking I'm going Amazon Prime.
Right, fair enough then. But strangely enough, my weekly rec for this week is a Netflix exclusive.
See, what's that?
It's a Netflix original. So still, we're going with. But no, I will go for Disney Plus. But my weekly rec for this week is it is my weekly rec, and it's a film that didn't get very good critical review.
Okay.
Didn't get a very good critical response. But I found some heart in. I found some emotion in. Sure, it wasn't well liked by Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, but I think it's a film that I enjoyed. And it is The Unicorn Store.
Sorry, what?
The Unicorn Store.
Can you explain, please?
Right, okay. Have you watched or heard of The Unicorn Store?
I have not.
Right. Well, released in 2017.
Okay.
It's an American film. It's a comedy, and it is the tale of a girl, Kit, who never let go of her childhood.
Right.
She never let go of the fact she loved glitter and colours and art and unicorns.
Okay.
And the most thing she wants in the whole entire world is to have a unicorn for herself, a real one. And she has to come to the realization that maybe she can't let go of her childhood, but maybe that's what's keeping her so positive, and that's what's keeping her going. But yes, your childhood is important. You shouldn't let go of it, but you also shouldn't shun it. You shouldn't think, "Oh, I'm an adult now. I can't do all that kiddie stuff anymore. I can't think of all that anymore." So throughout her journey, she leaves art school, and she moves back in with her parents.
Yeah.
And she is, of course, Kit is played by Brie Larson, who also directs this film.
Okay.
Strangely enough, who's also Captain Marvel in Marvel. So we're making all kinds of connections today.
Yes, we are.
Kit stumbles upon a fantasy store called the Unicorn Store, which is owned by a man known as the Salesman, who is played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Cicely Sam Jackson.
Cicely Sam Jackson is in this film. He plays the Salesman, who is this charismatic, brightly dressed, colourful character who guides her through this world and shows her that a unicorn, a real life unicorn, can be hers. But all she has to do is complete these set of steps. She has to make a home for the unicorn. She has to have assurance of love for the unicorn, and she has to want the unicorn. But for a limited time only, the salesman has many people who he has to give a unicorn to, and he only has one unicorn. Yeah. So Kit goes about making this barn, this shed for the unicorn to live in, with a local guy from the Home Depot, a guy called Virgil, who's played very well. They try to build it together. They build this big barn, this big shed. But when it comes to the moment that Kit completes her tasks and goes to the unicorn, she realizes she doesn't want it, because she's found something. She's found a value. She's found a choice that she doesn't deserve the unicorn. It should go to someone who wants it. Of course, she wants it, but she knows there's something great. There's something bigger than herself.
Yeah.
That this is a gift that should go to someone who won't squander it. She just wants a unicorn to love it and to be a pet. The unicorn could go to someone who will stay with it forever, and someone who will give it the love that she can't, because she's moving on. It's a story of maturity, and it's a story of not letting go of your childhood, but also keeping it with you.
Yeah.
Keeping it with you and keeping by it and learning from it. It's a story of maturity. It's a story of heart, of emotion, and also of realization. And I think also the color palette is amazing in this film. The coloration is absolutely stellar. There's so many rainbows. There's so many bright pinks and greens and blues, and it's just a feast. It's a feast for the eyes. It really is. When I won't spoil if the unicorn appears or not, but in the event that a unicorn does appear, it is just absolutely amazing. The way they do it is just so clever, and it's directed by Brie Larson herself. It's her directorial debut. She was also a producer, and Samuel L. Jackson, of course, comes along. Sizzly Sam Jackson with all his sizzle, extra sizzle. He has a big afro in the film. He's really fun. He's always a good time to watch. Brie Larson herself, strangely, she has a lot of heart as well. She has a lot of emotion, which isn't really something I felt she brought to Captain Marvel. I thought she was quite stoic as Captain Marvel, but in this she really turns around and really shows you that she's got the chops to pull off a lead. But that's not what you're here for, Corey. You're here for the real rating, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm here
now, despite a 5.5 from IMDb. Despite a 64% Rotten Tomatoes, despite a 44% Metacritic, I'm going to give the Unicorn Store a solid 8.
Oh,
a solid 8. I think it's got journey, it's got emotion, it's got heart. It's definitely got heart. It's got a lot of color. It's bright. It's fun, but it's also deep. I love anything that's got layers. I love a layered story, and there are layers. And Kit's character, her journey, her realization, even her portrayal, how emotional she is, how vulnerable she is, but also how she finds strength in her maturity, and she finds at the end of the film is particularly poignant because it really goes on how your childhood affects you, and how it comes to the forefront. But also how to move on, how to take a step back. So I think that's the Unicorn Store. I was about to give it a 7.5, but I thought, you know what, it's better than that. And it was a good time for me. I really had fun with it. It is fun, but it's also deep, and I love any film like that.
I think 8's the highest we've had, isn't it?
8 is the highest we've had. We've not broken 8 yet. So I'm waiting for the time where we will break 8. But I'm giving it 6 reels. My real rating for the Unicorn Store is 8 reels.
And that's all that matters. You don't need tomatoes. You don't need
no, I don't need Rotten Tomatoes. I don't need nothing. I don't need Meta or critics. So it's what I enjoy, and that's why I'm giving it the rating, and that's why I enjoy it. But for today, could you close us out with our closing song, Corey.
Yeah, so we've talked about streaming services,
Yes.
and I thought, you know what? Try and pick a song. And I ain't gonna lie, I had a struggle thinking of I can't think of a song from and then I remembered Disney.
Yeah.
Right, one of the biggest soundtracks to come out of any film.
Disney Plus.
Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, great.
And I thought, okay, well, I could go the first one, and then I remembered, you know what? I'm going to pick my favorite song from both of the soundtracks, which is by Sweet, which are a British band, I believe.
They are.
And I have picked the song "Fox on the Run," which I believe was used for the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It appears on the soundtrack.
Fox on the Run by Sweet, 1974 release from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That is the song we're closing this broadcast of the real show on Siren Radio out to. So I'm Murray. That's Corey, and goodbye everybody.
Goodbye.
All right, enjoy. See ya.